Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 of Nerd News, where we're going to be covering the news in games, movies, a little bit of wrestling. But first off, I want to just give a nice little shout out to my friends at Cherem. They just released their debut album, Take It or Leave It. It's a fantastic punk album. Highly recommend it. Check them out on Spotify. And they're currently on tour in the UK, so if you want to check them out, please look them up. They are fantastic. But now we're going to be covering some game news. We only got two big pieces of news to cover. I mean, there's the whole thing with Microsoft, like they're going, oh, we're not going to be third party anymore, but you're going to see our games on other consoles. It's like, we don't know what's going on here. When more happens, we will talk about it, but right now it's very wishy washy news. But this kind of also goes into like nerd news as well because Respawn Entertainment, developers of the Titanfall games and Apex Legends, they just announced that they're going to be making a Mandalorian FPS. I don't know how I feel about that, okay? Because I haven't watched season 3 of The Mandalorian because I wasn't a fan of how the Mandalorian subplot was like just shoved into Book of Boba Fett, and it kind of has like put me off wanting to watch more of it. And with everything that I read online, I've heard that season 3 actually wasn't as good. The sort of recycled villains and the whole plot line of Mando and Grogu not really being interested anymore. I don't know. I know I probably should give it a chance, and I am a fan of Respawn's games. I think Titanfall 2 is one of the best FPS games of all times, and it's criminal how EA decided we're going to release it in between Call of Duty and Battlefield. I don't know why they thought that would work, but yeah. So I'm hoping this game will be good. It would be great to see them do more Star Wars stuff, because obviously they also did the Jedi Survivor games. How did I forget about that? And I thought the first Jedi Fallen Order game was great. Jedi Survivor, I've heard great things about. I just haven't had the chance to play it. Last year was a banger year for games, so trust me, there's too many that I really wanted to play, but I still haven't got around to doing. But more Star Wars games is good. I'm glad it's not another Battlefront game, especially how DICE handled the last one. So we'll see. And the second piece of news, it hasn't been confirmed, but everything seems to be lining up correctly for this. Switch 2, the long awaited sequel console, is apparently coming out at the beginning of next year. I I'm inclined to think that's true because the Switch came out around the beginning of 2017, like March 2017. And if it comes out next year, around that time, it would have been an 8-year time gap. I do think it's time for a new console from Nintendo. I think the Switch has worn out its life cycle. I mean, we're in a new console generation for Xbox and PlayStation, and basically the Switch is like two hardware like components behind. Yes, the portability of the console is great. It's probably like one of my favorite consoles because of that. But but we can't get good third party games on there now when everyone is developing for the higher consoles. So the Switch needs to catch up to it. And I was talking about this with my friend because we were like really like curious about how Nintendo could do this. And he was saying, I would love it if we could get backwards compatibility for the disc-based consoles, for the GameCube, the Wii, and the Wii U. And I would like that. I would definitely like that. But I don't think it would work if it's going for the handheld again. I think what you'd have to do is put the disc drive in the dock, and then you can only play the disc-based games in the dock, and have backwards compatibility for like Switch One, and obviously new games with the cartridge in the console itself. Again, we don't even know if this is going to be Switch 2. Everyone's just hoping for a Switch 2. I would see no reason for them to make a Switch 2. Considering like the Switch is their best-selling console of all time. It's their longest-running console of all time. So, yeah, I feel like a Switch 2 would be a good choice. What do you guys think? Now we're going to move on to movies. And we've got quite a bit of movie news to cover. We've got quite a few trailers. Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, we all knew this was going to be the plot, but to actually not call it Deadpool 3 and call it Deadpool Wolverine, lots of fun. The trailer looked right. It's going to sound controversial. And you know me, I like giving controversial opinions here, so let's go. It seemed too Disney, too MCU. Yes, the rated R humor from Deadpool movies was there, but there was just something too clean about this movie, this trailer. And I worry about that. I loved the first Deadpool movie simply because it felt very low budget, and I don't like using the word gritty, but gritty is the right word here. And I worry that this movie, now that because it has to be part of the MCU canon, it's going to lose some of that flair. I want to be wrong about this. I genuinely want to be wrong. I want this movie to do good. I wasn't sold on the first trailer. But one trailer I was sold on, X-Men 97. Yes, I know I'm young, but I grew up on this show, okay? I I grew up on reruns of this show because fucking CITV was showing this all the time. I love the 90s X-Men, and I'm so excited that we're getting a sequel series. We don't know how many seasons it's going to be. I I would be happy with just one or two. Just wrap up the story and then do the same with the 90s Spider-Man because they only had one season left of that to make. But this trailer got me hyped, especially the end bit with Gambit charging up Wolverine's claws. I don't care if it can't happen in the comics. This is a cartoon, and it triggers something in my nerd brain to make me go, yes, I want this. So it drops on March 20th. We literally don't have that long to wait. I am super hyped for it. We also got our cast reveal for the Fantastic Four on Valentine's Day. We got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Ebon Moss Backrack. I don't know, I've probably mispronounced that name. He's playing Ben Grimm, and we've got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. It's who everyone seems to hate about that, and I don't get it. I will be honest, I didn't watch Stranger Things season 4. But I remember when that came out and everyone was really happy with his performance. So I don't know where this like flip flopping came from. Again, like I think Pedro Pascal was a weird choice. I think he's gonna be better than Joseph Krasinski was in Doctor Strange, but I'm not that excited about that. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, mwah, perfect casting. She looks the part. That was like the one I was excited about. And Ebon, I've heard good things about him, especially in The Bear. He was also Data in the Punisher show season 1. He was great in that. So I'm excited about that. Like I'm glad it's gonna be set in the 60s from everything we can infer from the one poster. So I'm excited about that. And also Herbie the robot. Like say what you want about the MCU, and I will say a lot about the MCU. They get things right, and making Marvel's first family being the 60s, having the little robot, being that very campy thing. Again, we're throwing this all from one poster. But if this is the vibe they're going to go for, I'm really excited about that. But that wasn't the only comic book movie that came out. Well, comic book related thing that came out Valentine's Day. Man and Web came out. uh, I saw it. I saw it over this past weekend, and it's bad. It's bad. I agree with the 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I need you all to hear me out. I would see this movie again because I had so much fun laughing at it. I truly think this is the room of comic book movies, and that is something I don't say lightly. Every scene was painfully done, and I could not stop laughing. The villain's lines are completely ADR'd. There are scenes where you see his mouth isn't moving, and lines are coming out of his mouth that are a higher fidelity than the other actors in the scene with him. It is perfect. It is perfect. I don't want you to see this movie in cinema because I don't want Sony to make money off it. But if you have the means, go see this movie. I just gather a few friends around, watch this movie, have fun. I promise you, you will not regret it. And because I just want to follow up from Bobby's news story last week, we're going to talk about Roman Reigns, The Rock, and Cody's weird storyline. So when we last left it, Cody decided, nah, I want The Rock to take my spot and challenge Roman for the Universal title, which again, at the time, made no sense. Then they held a press conference 6 days later where Cody came out and was like, "You're not stealing this moment from me. How dare you?" And everyone's like, "You offered it. You offered your title opportunity." So The Rock turned heel, aligned with Roman, and Cody's like, "Fuck you, I'm challenging you for the Universal title at WrestleMania." So this is where it stands. And we're having a number one contenders triple threat at, not triple threat, Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber this week to determine who's going to challenge Seth Rollins. My money's on Drew McIntyre. Simply because professional CM Punk hater Drew McIntyre right now is my favorite gimmick. And if it's not going to be Gunther, it has to be Drew. But with regards to the Universal title match, it's a mess. It could have been a simple, clear-cut Cody challenges Roman match, but this like weird intrigue, and it's not. I can't use the word intrigue actually because it's not. I'm not excited about it. It's not me going like, "Oh, what's The Rock doing? Why is he turning heel and everything?" I don't find that interesting because it's derailing from the actual narrative, which is Cody wants that title. And it just makes it seem like there's going to be more and more mess there. But it also does seem like that means the main event of night one is going to be this big schmoz match. But we got a month and a half to go until Mania. Of course, we're going to keep covering it. And please let us know your thoughts on the Roman Reigns, Cody, Rock, Rollins, McIntyre situation. And also, that is everything from me today. I have been your host, Timothy Martini. If you want to follow me on the socials, you can see down below. It's the Tim Martini, available on all socials. Again, follow us on all our socials at CC Society Pod. Also, don't forget to send us an email at ccsocietypod@gmail.com. If you're listening to this on Spotify, we are also available on YouTube, youtube.com/ccsocietypod. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we're on Spotify. Just look up Cult Classic Society. I've been your host, Timothy Martini, and I'll see you guys next time.